Thanks, Henry. And I think it's fair to say that Reece Colley is probably the one under the cosh right in this game. Number 11 of the day already. Things are motoring along at a very nice pace, but Culleton showed a great deal of spirit against Hendo in his previous match, winning by 4-2. I think he's drawn a line in the sand, Matt, as if to say, right, this is going to be a tight group, and every game I have to give it everything. And if he gives it everything here, he might even get another 2 points to get to the top of the table on 6.
I think what we're going to see here this week is the Reece Colley story, the Reece Colley journey continue. Reece Colley came here a couple of months back. I was on commentary and he was in Group C and I spoke so highly of him.
First leg, it is Niall to throw first. Game on.
And I really bigged him up. I put him down as the group winner. He came in, he won the group. He looked very, very good. He went to Q School recently and
99.
I went on my YouTube channel and I was on there giving him one of the 5 players to watch and keep an eye on. And
95.
it's just not happened. He's averaged a couple of times in the 60s, a lot of times in the 70s. I mentioned earlier that a week will not define your season. However, when you're
60.
young, like Reece Colley, who is a player who has shown the levels of someone who could play on the professional tour.
60.
It's clearly where he wants to be playing his darts. One of the biggest issues we've got as young players is, and this is to quote Mervyn King, who
99.
said this exact quote to me. He says, "Stop wanting everything yesterday."
That's such a good statement. I've seen
80.
16, 17-year-old kids saying, I want to go to Q School. And my immediate answer to that is, what for?
95.
You're trying to fly before you can walk.
Bo Greaves. The amount of people that have said, why didn't Bo go to Q School? I'm like, that is the bang-on perfect decision for Bo. Because she can get in the World Championship behind the Women's Series, the Grand Slam, she played the Women's Match Play.
Now you require
The
148.
only thing I'd like to see next from her is to go on the development tour as well.
I completely agree with you. And what's more, I wouldn't mind seeing her here.
60. Reece, you require 167.
Sure she'd ruffle a few feathers after another double win in Romania over the weekend. Beating Dieter Hedman and Kirsty Hutchinson.
81. Now you require
the Romanian
88.
Open and Romanian Classic, I believe. That's a good first start from Niall.
74.
Second and third leave him
Reece, you require 86.
feeling a little bit empty. He'd be feeling even more empty if this goes in. And
that
it
is
does.
game shot. And the first
Was he going
leg,
for the old Johnny
Reece
Clayton
Colley.
shot there for double 18, double 16? Well, if he was, it doesn't matter. Because he takes the ball anywhere for a 1-0 lead and a break of throw.
Second leg, it's Reece to throw first. Game on.
Do that myself. Just on the inside wire, don't overly commit to it. Inside wire of the double 18.
100.
You'll get the dart of the ball, or you might get a dart of the double 16, which is what you was trying to leave in the first place.
You mentioned Q School for Reece Colley. He didn't get through phase 1, or stage 1. He lost out in the first round of the first 2 days.
77.
One of those games to Cam Crabtree. It wasn't a great encounter. Although Cam did average over 91, so I'll give him full credit for that. But he did a little bit better on day 3, when I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping. And ultimately, he lost out to Justin Hood.
180.
There's another player I want to see here. Justin Hood. Great left-hander from the southwest of England.
140. Reece, you require
Colley is
144.
starting to collar Culleton. That's a bad dart.
44.
But in the grand scheme of things, leaving a 2-darter there, all will be well if he can convert it. We'll talk a little bit about Niall's statistics and games from Q School at the end of this
94.
leg. But when will that be?
Reece,
will it be in 2 darts
100.
time? Reece is hoping so. Well, he doesn't like where the flight is, so he may go 16s here. You may question that call, but I think his dart went in that single 20 a bit more upright than he thought.
122.
And he didn't like the fact that the flight was in the way. So all will be well if he can convert the 57. And
26.
He knows this time that the single shot is not going to be in the way of tops. Double 10.
37.
And Culleton thought this leg was done.
96.
And he's going to go the double-double again. I don't know what you think, Matt,
56.
but that was a lovely lie for the 60.
Require 20.
Yeah, I'd have been staying there if I was Niall.
That is game shot and the second leg. Reece Colley.
Sticks to what he believes in. Just didn't pay off for him on that occasion. Reece Colley, the British Open men's champion, who will be hoping to defend that title this year. Now he hasn't got a
Niall to throw
tour
first.
card. That'll be his attention moving to that title, and obviously Lakeside as well. An event that he qualified through off the back of
85.
winning that. Just looking at the players he beat in that tournament, he beat Dean Winstanley. He beat Gary Stone, who's just won in Romania himself.
76.
Someone we've seen down here do very well. Mike Gillett. Chris Landman as well, who had a very good Challenge Tour weekend. He's actually sat
100.
5th position at the moment on that order of merit and likely to be getting a few Pro Tour call-ups as well. But just the performance that week, it was
97.
92, 93, 96, 91, 93, 91 and 91. Always above that 90.
100.
Didn't ever look in doubt, really, when you look at the score lines. 3-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-1. Dominated.
50.
But what he's got to do now is kick on from that. He's got to forget that he's a British Open champion. He wants to be another something. You want to add something to your CV. Niall's in a position with his darts right now where he wants to add something like a British Open to his CV. He talked quite candidly about making the quarterfinals of Killarney at the end of last year.
100. Niall, you require 76.
He's looking for the title that is going to define this part of his career. It could well be something here. You just never know.
That is game shot and the third leg. Niall Culleton.
The deficit with that 76 that you've just seen. Don't be surprised if you see Culleton in a plethora of different coloured shirts this week as well.
Game on.
He loves a bit of variety. Now, I know you're a big one for YouTube, Matt. Any thoughts on the fact that Niall looks like the Liver King? Same sort of beard.
60.
Or is he a bit more Braun Strowman? Is that a bit more down your avenue?
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of the Braun
91.
Strowman in there, yeah.
Honestly, I shook his hand this morning. I'm still quite sore from it.
100.
Like shaking hands with the giant who came down the beanstalk.
I mean, that's going to be a great Saturday night, isn't it, for people that follow our similar interests?
60.
Saturday night, you've got the final of stage 2, where we'll wrap up all 12 players that are going to be taking part in Champions
45.
Week. And then straight into that, we've got the Royal Rumble.
60.
You can't throw a dart player over the top rope to get the win. You can eliminate them. Somewhat like the Elimination Chamber.
100. Reece, you require 150.
Finish of last year in all of darts was 150 by Simon Whitlock in the Dutch Darts Championship. A finish I'll never forget. I haven't seen anybody do that here at the Modus Super Series, though. Not yet. I'm hopeful that someone will try it
60.
and pull it off.
Reece, you require 60.
I'm not sure now we've lost Scott Williams if someone's going to be going for that sort of route, but I'm sure Scott would have gave it a good go.
2 10s for Reece.
40.
Just giving freebies to Niall that maybe he doesn't deserve. He was hopeful after the first
82.
Start, crestfallen after the second.
Reece, you require 20.
Double 10. Just trying to clear a path for it by stepping to his left.
10.
Can't find it. He looks
Now you require
very
54.
down on himself this afternoon. Maybe just feeling a bit of disappointment after a suspect
That is game shot and the fourth
couple of
leg.
defeats
Niall Culleton.
since the start of play, where he beat John Henderson by 4 legs to 3. But Culleton at 2-2 is going to be feeling very different to his opponent, who's got the same leg
Fifth
score.
leg, it's Niall to throw first. Game on.
I think Reece is feeling what I felt could be the worst case scenario for him.
135.
The thing that we spoke about, the fear, especially when we're dealing with one of the younger players who's had a level of success, is that wanting everything yesterday, really getting caught up in that short form, really feeling that an opportunity's been missed.
140.
The opportunity's not been missed. There's plenty more opportunities. It's just been delayed, and probably delayed for good reason. If the setbacks are that heavy and that
140.
weighted, because one of the things you've got to get used to on that tour is setback after setback. Only one person will win. 128 players, the 128 best players from around the world. You might be the best player from Belgium, from
85.
France, from Holland, from Germany, from wherever you're coming from. Only one person will leave that room not as a loser.
140.
In my pro career, I don't know how many tournaments I played, but I only left as the victor 5 times.
85. Now you require 86.
And that was a career that spanned over a decade. So you have to get used to disappointment. And it's how you roll with that and how you soak it up and manifest it in a positive way. That's how your career is going to be defined. Culleton's going for double 4.
That is game
and he
shot
takes the
and
lead.
the fifth leg.
And that's
Niall
a 12 darter
Culleton.
as well. The stride gets a bit longer. The pace of the stride gets faster. And the confidence
Sixth leg.
being
It's Reece to
exuded
throw first.
with
Game
the
on.
mannerisms of the big man from Ireland.
Roddy Piper once said that the most
87.
lonely place to be is the main event. He says because everyone thinks the main event's like the big attraction, and it is for the fans' point of view, but for
96.
the performers' side of things, it's the most lonely place. The reason being, because you'll go out, because and by the time you get backstage again, all the other wrestlers who are there have all gone because they want to beat the traffic and they want to get out. So you go back to empty rooms. And
83.
I never understood what that statement was until I won my first tournament. And you're there and you're like, this is the moment everyone's come for. This is the
100.
biggest moment that every player's arrived for, that everyone wants this moment. And you do it and you say yes, and you turn around and the room is empty.
100.
everyone's gone. And you just think, like, Piper was right. It is the most, for the actual performer side of things, the loneliest position
60.
on the entire event.
I remember a couple of years ago, Christopher Tyskie won the 30th Players' Championship of the season, beating Joe Cullen.
134.
And after he'd done his interview with the broadcaster, he walked back into the Metrodome in Barnsley, and there was nobody there. Not one single person. And I have that picture of him
60.
imprinted
Reece
on my
required
brain.
97.
Can Reece imprint a 97 on the board to take us all the way?
87.
Again, it's another miss at double 10. He's had no joy down there.
We're hoping to find a bit of joy on the double 5 because time is running out for Reece. It looked like he was having it all his own way at one point. He was 2-0 up.
Reece required 10.
If he can get out of this with a 4-3 win, it will tell us a lot about him.
That is
That's the
game
first
shot
job
and
done.
the sixth leg.
But now
Reece
he's got to break
Colley.
Niall Culleton in the last leg if he wants to make his way to 4 points. As it stands, we have
Seventh
Smith,
and final leg. It's Niall to
Budgeon,
throw first.
Culleton and
Game
North
on.
on 4. If Colley wins here, the only person not on 4 points is John Henderson.
100.
And he's playing Richard North next.
Not a prediction many people would have made at the start of the day.
97.
And they're the two players who have both been to a pro to a final in the PDC. No other player
140.
in this field in Group A has been that far in their careers, apart from North and Henderson.
97.
And let's look through the form guide of today. You've got to say Richard North is by
100.
far the more consistent and certainly has hit a much higher ceiling of the two. Going into today, you'd probably say Richard North would be favourite now for that match.
I'd have to agree.
39.
Well, that last start pretty much
Niall
tells the story
require
for Reece in this last leg.
161.
It falls on the floor, and it gives Culleton space,
99.
time, a place to breathe. Gives them options from 62.
98.
Big fish is
Niall
left,
require
just in
62.
case. But it could be match done before he even gets a look at it.
42.
One chance and one chance only.
Reece, you require 170.
Take this. And he would have felt like a superhuman.
And there is no better way
56.
to win a match than with a
Niall, you require
170
20.
finish.
Right on the wire. And
Game
then
shot.
in for
And the
Culleton
match.
to steal a
Niall
win against Reece
Culleton.
Colley. He was 2-0 behind. Then he got himself in front, and he was never behind again. A really steady display from Niall. The 86.43 average is pretty good, but 50% on the doubles, and he's starting to find his range on that part of his game, and that is why he's top of the table now, albeit with North and Henderson having that game in hand, and that game in hand is coming up next.